Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel, or if you're new here, welcome. Today I'm going to talk about the only commands that you really need to know to model airplanes or surface model airplanes in Fusion 360. If you know these commands really well, you should be able to model just about any airplane you see. Just looking at the plane and thinking about how you're going to do that. And if you can find formers for the airplane, the better it will be. And if you can't find formers for it, I did a video on showing you guys how to do that without formers, just from having a front, a top, side, and back view. Even the bottom view would help. And I showed you guys how to go ahead and do that. But there's only a few commands that you really need to know. And in my opinion, the most important one would be the spline tool. We'll get to that in a minute or so. But let's go ahead and talk about this. So let's say you have found your picture that you want to use, and you found formers and everything that you want to use, and you want to get everything into the computer. So the first command that you really should know is in the insert a canvas, because you're always going to put a picture onto the canvas. And so that first command that you need to know is how to do that. And that is quite simple. You just come up here to insert, and then you select canvas. And then your picture, wherever you have your picture, just go there, have it on my computer. And I have a picture on my desktop, so I'll just put desktop in here. And I will just use this and open this. Then it's going to ask you what plane you want to put this on. So I want to put that picture on this plane here. Then just go ahead and drag this out to so you can see it, because it's a small picture. Now I want to flip this around the other direction, because I don't like modeling the planes in this direction. That's just my preference, and you can model them this way if you want to. So I'll just flip this around by selecting this here, and now it's just opposite direction. And then you just click OK. Now the next command, what you want to learn how to use, is how to scale this to the size you want this to be. So if you want this plane to be 3 meters or 2 meters, etc., you'll know how to do that. That's a second command you'll need to know how to do. And you just come over here and click on this here, right click on it, and select calibrate. Now you'll click one point. Let's say if you want this portion up here to this portion down here to be 6 inches long, or let's make it a little bigger. Let's say you want that to be 10 inches long. You just click here and here and say 10 inches. Now, you can put millimeters, etc. in here. You don't have to, I mean, you can use a metric system instead of inches, but I just chose inches for this. It's no big deal there. Or you can scale it in this direction here. If you want this to be from here to here, you want this to be, say, 3 meters long, you would just type in 3,000 millimeters for that to get that to do that. So now we have our first picture in here, and we have our scale. So we've covered, so far we've covered inserting the picture onto a canvas and how to scale that picture. Now the next command you want to, well, it's not really a command. You just want to be able to know how to move this around. So you come up here and click on the picture itself on the canvases and select edit canvas. Now you can move this around. Let's say you want it, this nose to be lined up down here. You just bring this down here. Just move this this square. And just move it here. Now you don't have to do this. It's just showing you guys that how to move the picture around once you get it on to the canvas. Then you just click OK. Now the next command that you want to be very familiar with is putting in construction planes, because each one of these formers you want to trace these on a construction or on a plane. So let me turn off this as the origin here. And now, well, let me turn that back on for a second. So we want to put a plane at A, B, C, D, E, etc. back. So you come up here to construct, and you want to use an offset plane. And we want to use the plane here, and we just move this back to A and click OK. Now that gives you that plane there, as you can see. And we want to do that for each one of these back. And I'll do one more. Don't have to put them all in here. So we just come up there, construct, offset plane. Now you can use this plane this time if you wanted to offset from. Okay, we have our two planes there. Now so far, we've learned how to put a picture onto a canvas, how to scale that picture, and now how to add construction planes that we're going to need. So from that, those are very important commands to know. Now, what you can do, which I highly suggest doing, is going to Photoshop or Canva and splitting each one of these formers up from this, so you'll have a separate picture of this. But since we don't have a separate picture of it, I'm just going to use the whole picture again and put it on the plane. So what I do here is I'm going to insert canvas again, insert from my computer, and that picture again, and open. And now I'm going to put that on this plane here. Let me turn off the origin here. Now that's on that plane there. And I'm going to drag this out. And I'm going to move this down. Make it bigger. And I want to match the size of this to this. So it needs to be bigger. Okay, now it needs to be a little smaller. And then once you get it to correct size, okay, that's close, but you'll just keep working on that until you get it exactly. And we want to move it to the center line too. And like I said, this is easier to do when you just have, you're only looking at one of the formers instead of all of them like here on the front page here. So once that's there, you can click OK. And that's on the front there. Then next do the same thing for B. For this, I'm going to turn this off, and I'm going to label this A. Go ahead and label this A also. And this, you can label this your side view. Okay. Now we got that. I'm going to turn A off. And this plane here, construction plane, we can label this A also. So go ahead and get in the habit of labeling these also. So label that A, and this was going to be B. Okay, now as you can see, from those commands we did from the beginning, and this is the steps that I use, the important commands like it just showed you, the insert a picture onto a canvas, how to do a construction plane or offset plane, and how to put a picture on that plane. What I'm showing you guys here now. So those are very important commands to know. Turn that off and then turn off this origin here. And I'm not going to do this whole airplane. I'm only going to put 2 of these in here to get you guys to understand the concept of it, what's going on here, and the commands that that you really need to know. Pretty much the only commands that I use. So I'm going to insert canvas again. And when you do this insert, you must make sure that you put it on the correct plane. Because if you looked at this from the front, you could have put it here and you would not be putting it on that B plane. This is the plane back here. You want to put it on. To make sure you're putting it on the right plane, just rotate a little and select the plane. And then I'm going to move this. And what's good about these commands, like I said, you can model so many airplanes just from these commands. And in Fusion, there are so many commands. And for modeling airplanes, if I had to say, you're probably only using about maybe 5 to 10% of all the commands that are available to you. So a lot of commands that, not unless you really want to know what they do, then learn them. But in my opinion, it's best to learn as much as you can with Fusion. But if you only have one purpose in mind as modeling airplanes, learn these commands, and when things come up where you don't understand something, then research to solve the problem. Say if you need another command or something. Okay, let's see here. All right, and click OK. Okay, now label this B. So we have our 2 here, A and B, and A. I'm going to move this to the left a little. So again, to move this, you have to just click on the picture itself and edit canvas. And OK. Now, the next command that we're going to use is the sketch command. And it's not sketch command, I mean, we're going to create a sketch. And you have to know how to create a sketch. And the command we're going to use for that, let's see, turn on A, and we want to create a sketch on that profile A, which was here. Turn B off. Okay, so we are on this plane here to create a sketch, and we need to trace this here, this shape. So to trace this shape here, first, you're going to use the line command, and we're going to draw a center line here to here. Now with surface modeling, normally you only model half of, say like an airplane, you would model half of it and mirror the other side. Just like a car, same thing, you would model half the car and mirror it to the other side. Now that was the line command for that line, and next we're going to use the spline command. This is a very important tool. Now, when you're using this tool, you want to use less points as possible. Now, a lot of my other videos, I have shown, let me cancel this and turn this off. My other videos, I've shown using a lot of points. And you don't want to use a lot of points on when doing this. For some reason, I don't know why it's not snapping onto that point up there, but okay. I see why it's not snapping. Delete this. All right. And do that line again. It's a line command. Okay. Now, the fit point spline, like I was saying, you don't want to use a whole lot of points. So with this here, something like this, you can use 3 points. Then move the handles around to get the shape. Okay. And finish that. Finish sketch. And that there is the first shape. And I'm going to turn that sketch off, turn B on, turn A off, and turn this construction plane on. Now, I want to create a sketch on this plane here. And we're on this plane here. Okay. And again, you're going to use that line command. And it did that again, so we delete this. Turn this construction plane off. And we do the line again. You don't really have to do this if you didn't mess up like I did there. It's no big deal. Then the spline tool. Like I said, spline tool is very important. And there's not a lot of commands that we're going to be using. So far, I think we've only covered 3. Okay, now I'm not going to go into great details trying to get this exact, because I'm just showing you guys here the only tools that you really need to know, or commands. Okay, go ahead and finish that sketch. Now this is slightly off, so I need to move this to the left. Now here's another important command that you will need to know about, how to move this sketch over. Now to do that, you're going to come up here to move copy. Make sure this is zeroed out. Select this, and we're just going to move it over slightly. Just to line up with this here. And click OK. Now I don't know why it moved forward to the other plane. Maybe I drew it, sketched it on the wrong plane, this back one here, which I did, which is no big deal. So what I'm going to do is turn this plane on here. And I'm going to create a sketch on this plane here. And make sure we're on the correct plane. Then another important tool you need to know is project. So we're going to project this shape and this onto this plane here and click OK. And finish sketch. And turn that sketch off, and we can turn the canvases off. Okay. Now we have this shape here, these two shapes. Now, just for a recap, so far, the commands that we've used so far to get to this point, inserting a canvas, come up here, canvas, select your picture, then placing it onto a plane. And one of these planes here is what we use, this side one here. And once we have the picture on the plane, we learn how to scale it or calibrate it. And to calibrate it, you just come over here, right-click on it, and calibrate. And to calibrate it, whatever measurement that you know or what you want the plane to be, just put that measurement in, and go from there. And then next, doing a offset plane, another important command. And we put those planes in A and B. And then sketching. After we got those planes in there, then insert a canvas onto those planes and then calibrate those. So far we haven't even used 5 commands so far. And so there's not a whole lot of commands that you really, really need to know. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do, we're going to create a sketch on this plane here. And we're going to use a fit point spline again. And we're going to just follow this shape up here. Now, it didn't snap on there at first until I rotated this to the side, which is fine. That lets me know that this is not flat to here. They're not flat to each other, which is fine. And then we'll put one on the bottom. Now, I always put 3 points. Sometimes I might put more, but I never just put 2. Because when I put 2 in there, the shape of this may not be correct. Let's say if this was a little lower, this line, or I didn't have this point here. Now this is a straight line here, which lets me know that this sketch should come down just a little. But since it's not down, I could move this. But let's say if it were round, more round on the bottom here, I could move this now to make it round. But we don't need to. But that's why I put 3 points, just like the top up here too. Now I know this should come down more and this should come down more, which is no problem. But as you can see by having those 3 points in there, now I can shape this better to around here, like it should be. Now another thing, another fit point spline, what I'm going to do here, again, 3 points and move this over here. So I want this shape here to try to follow this shape down here. And these splines are very important. And put another one in here. And like I said, I always use 3 points, a minimum, just in case I need to move them. This needs to come down a little. And I can move that in there like that. You see this needs to come in a little too. Now, if I had put just I couldn't get a curve in here without putting that point there. And this roundness here, like from the front, as you can see, I couldn't do that with a straight line just coming straight across here either. So that's very important. And I'll just put one more in here. Okay. Now, another thing that you guys should know, if I put C, the former C, and D or whatever, how many more I put back here, these rails would have to touch each one of these formers too to work properly. And if the rail, like this rail here, if I put the former here and I loft from B to C, and then I want to use a rail, this rail would have to touch C also. Another important tip there, remember that. Okay, we have that. Go ahead and finish sketch. And now I'm going to use a surface loft. Now you don't have to use a surface loft. It's up to you what you want to use. But when I'm surface modeling, I'll just stick with surface tools. So I'm going to use a surface loft. And another important thing here, you want to make sure this is zeroed out. So hit this X here and then select your first profile. Now we want to add rails to that. Top and bottom. And click OK. And we can turn the canvas off. And as you can see, that's the first piece right there, and that looks really good. Now, I'll mirror this, but since I don't think this was on the plane, directly on the plane, it might not match to the two halves up, so they close up evenly, but that's no big deal. Just remember that when you sketch the profile, it's directly on the plane. So now I like to use a solid mirror. And as you can see, since this back profile was slightly to the right, it wasn't in the center like here. Go ahead and click OK. And we have that there, but we can always go back and move that too. But to move that that profile, you would move copy and then select a profile you want to move and move it over slightly. So, and let's see your next command. So that is pretty much the commands that you need to do for surface modeling a body or fuselage. And let's see here, go back a couple sketches. Now, if I can move this, but it's not going to let me do it. So, no big deal. Just wanted to show you guys some important commands that you need to know. Actually, the only ones you really need to know. Turn off the sketches. And that's the first piece there. Then you, well, with this particular model, then you just finish on the way back, moving on the way back. And to do the wings and everything like that, in my my videos, pretty much any of my videos, I show you guys how to model wings in on these airplanes, and those would be my steps to model the wings. So let's say we have a wing right here. I don't have all the pictures in here, but to do that, again, you're going to use Create Sketch, and we're going to create a sketch on this plane here. And you're going to use the line command again. And I really can't see where the wing is here, so I'm just going to wing it. And let's just say it's here. Put a line here to here. Then sketch the profile of a wing. Mirror this. This is the mirror line. Click OK. Finish sketch. And again, like I said, these tools here, line and the spline, very important. Then we have construction here. Now we're going to use a plane at an angle. So it's another important command, plane at an angle here. So now when we look at this from the top, here's our plane, and we click OK. And then you'll just create a sketch on this plane here. And use these lines here, or excuse me, not lines, but points here. So let's just say, again, use the line tool at the top of here. So these line tools and spline tools are very, very important tools. As you can see, pretty much this whole airplane will be modeled using these commands. Then again, we're going to use the surface. And we're going to use a sweep this time. Another very important command here is a sweep. And then you can change this to path and guide rails and change this to full extents. And the two profiles are going to be this, and the path is going to be this, and the guide rail is going to be this. Then click OK. And that wing is not to scale or anything. I just want to show you guys how to do a wing real quick. And that's how you do that. And like I said, pretty much those are the only tools we'll be using, because even when doing rest of this model here, this tail back here and the vertical stab and horizontal stab are done exactly the same way I just did this wing. The exact same way, nothing different. The only thing different here is that this will be vertical in the vertical position, and this one is just be smaller back here. So yeah, that's it. And the rest of this model back here, the fuselage, you're just going to take these formers and go back. But you're going to have to look at this section right here, and this is where the wing comes in. And this section, let's look at this from the top. This section right here, see if we have a front view. Okay. Yeah. You just add this little engine intake here. You're just going to add that later. So yeah, that's pretty much the tools to model this this airplane or this jet. And this intake, the tools that you're going to use here again, you're going to create a sketch on this plane here again, and you're just going to trace this. Or sketch that little area there. And depending on how you want to do that, you can use a 3-point arc. As I look at this, and another 3-point arc. But you don't have to use a 3-point arc if you don't want to, because normally I would not use a 3-point arc here. But when I just looked at this real quick, that just came to my mind. Normally I would use a spline tool for this. And however long that is. Now what you can do here is just use the extrude command. And move that back into the wing whenever you get the wing there. And that would be pretty much it. So yeah, but those are the commands that only commands you really need to know when modeling or surface modeling airplanes. And again, a recap of that is the knowing how to put a picture onto a canvas. So inserting a canvas, knowing how to do that. And again, that's just insert up here and canvas. Then it's going to ask you what, where's the picture. Then it's going to ask you what plane you want to put that picture on. Then you put that picture onto the plane. And once you get that picture onto the plane, then you're going to calibrate it. And to calibrate that picture, you just come up here to canvas, right click on which one we want to calibrate, then click calibrate and select the points, 2 points that you know or you want to make it to a certain length. Select those 2 points and then put in your dimension. And once you have your your picture onto the canvas, then you're going to create a sketch on the plane and sketch that, well, trace the profile like this former here, trace that. Then like B back here, then what you want to do is you're going to put a plane, an offset plane, because you want another plane here, and you would put the planes corresponding to each one of these back here. So the FEDCBA, you put planes on each one of those. And to put those planes there is just an offset plane. Click that. Then you select the first plane and then offset it for here and put a plane here. And once you got that there, then like C, then you want to put this picture onto the canvas of it and line it up there, etc. Then even the wings pretty much is done on the same way too. Nothing difficult or anything there. So it's only just a handful of commands to surface model an airplane. And once you know the commands really well, and you'll be able to model planes fast. And there are, hundreds of commands in Fusion 360 that you can use, but most of them you won't be using. But again, like I always said, the more you know, the better. And there are all kinds of ways of doing stuff like this in Fusion. But what works for you, some people like, and other people may not like the way that you're doing it. But this works for me, and it works well, and I can pretty much do this pretty fast. So yeah, so if you follow this, you should be able to model any airplane that you look at in Fusion 360 from the formers, surface model from formers. And again, with the formers, you just have to look at certain areas and know that you just can't loft from one point to the next point. This pretty much, looking at this, you can loft all of this. As I look at this, you can loft all of these. Only the difference here, you're just going to have to do this portion, this engine, separate. But you can loft all of these together. But there's airplanes, other airplanes that I've shown you on my channel here, where you just can't loft from, like, if like this here, you just can't. If you sketch this engine over here, intake here, you can't loft from here to here and get a good loft. It's going to look wonky. And from the front, you just can't loft from C to D either. You just can't do it. So yeah, but anyway, that's going to do it for this video, and I hope it helps a lot of you guys out. And if you have any questions, go ahead and leave them down in the comments. And if you're new to my channel, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe button, and comment on my videos. If you have any questions, just go ahead and leave them down in the comments. And I invite you to join my Facebook group and my Patreon site, and I'll help you guys out over there too. And yeah, and if you want, join my Patreon site, because I'm trying to make this a full-time job, showing you guys how to model these airplanes in Fusion. And also, if you want to, leave a super thanks. And yeah, that really helps out the channel too. But the least thing you can do is just subscribe to the channel, and that helps me out a lot. So yeah, but anyway, that's going to do it for this video, and we will catch you in the next one.
Subscribe for more.